Today we're going to be covering single ingredient natural fertilizers, which will include the value of natural fertilizers in growing healthy flowers and productive vegetable gardens, the different single ingredient fertilizers available, the ideal way to use each of them, and finally, when to apply for best results. Now, single ingredient natural fertilizers are derived from plant, animal, or mineral resources. They're ideal for enhancing soil fertility, tilth, as well as stimulating plant growth in a sustainable and environmentally friendly way. Also, single ingredient fertilizers provide a food source for the microorganisms that exist in healthy, productive soil. So the main advantage of using natural fertilizers is that you're building a good soil for years to come instead of depleting it over time. Now, we have 7 different natural ingredient fertilizers we love to use for growing healthy and productive plants, which include G&B Alfalfa Meal, G&B Kelp Meal, G&B Bone Meal, G&B Fish Bone Meal, G&B Blood Meal, G&B Bat Guano, and G&B Soft Rock. Each of these single-ingredient natural fertilizers, when used correctly, will improve the soil health and provide the nutrition needed to grow beautiful flowers and high-yielding vegetable crops. Beginning with alfalfa meal, this is made from fermented alfalfa plant seed and contains a nutrient growth stimulant called tricontanol, which promotes accelerated growth and plant development. It has a balanced amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, as well as many trace elements which work like a multivitamin for your plants. Alfalfa meal is best used in spring as it helps kickstart growth through the quick release of nutrients into the soil, and it improves soil tilth and water retention. Alfalfa meal is also highly recommended to use throughout the growing season for flowers, roses, herbs, and vegetables when growth has stalled and a quick burst of growth is desired. Next we have kelp meal, which is a natural fertilizer made from dried seaweed and is considered a good option for those who subscribe to a vegan lifestyle. It's an excellent source of macronutrients of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, as well as a lot of micronutrients. Kelp meal is also water-soluble and the most effective fertilizer to use as a foliage spray to help protect from cold and hot temperatures. It also encourages tolerance to stresses such as pests, disease, frost, and drought. And finally, it's an excellent source of calcium, magnesium, and it helps sweeten the soil, which promotes healthy plant growth. Then we have bone meal, which is made by drying boiled bones that are ground into a powder. It's a great source of phosphorus and calcium for growing flowers, bulbs, trees, and shrubs. Using bone meal promotes strong roots, which causes fast top growth of stems and leaves as the roots are able to absorb more water and nutrients from the soil. As a result, you'll have bigger bloom on your flowers, and yields on root crops like carrots, potatoes, and onions will improve as well. When you're using a container, bone meal is most effective when mixed into the potting soil since the phosphorus in bone meal doesn't move down through the soil profile. The ideal time to use bone is in fall plantings, as it takes a while for the phosphorus to break down and become available for plants to use. Now, fish bone is a marine-based alternative to traditional bone meal, and like bone meal, it's a great source of organic phosphorus and calcium. Fish bone breaks down faster than bone meal, and it's a better choice to use during the growing season to provide an early boost for new garden plantings or perennials and bulbs. Blood meal works as a fast-acting source of organic nitrogen and trace amounts of iron collected from cattle slaughterhouses. The 12% nitrogen in blood meal makes it great for heavy feeders like corn, broccoli, kale, and other leafy greens. However, it's not recommended for peas and other legumes, and care should be taken to not use too much as this fast-acting fertilizer can burn young, tender growth. Finally, blood meal can be used to repel animals like deer and rabbits, but it must be kept dry for this type of use. The next organic fertilizer is bat guano, which has been harvested for hundreds of years to improve plant growth and soil structure. Bat guano typically contains 3 major nutrients, 7% nitrogen, 3% phosphorus, and 1% potassium. So what do these big 3 nutrients do? Well, nitrogen promotes green, rapid growth. Phosphorus supports flowering and promotes root growth. Potassium helps plants grow strong stems. Bat guano also contains microbes, which have been found to aid in cleansing toxic soils. These microbes are also efficient decomposers and help control the incidence of soil diseases and dangerous nematodes. Finally, Guano has the advantage of being odor-free and fast-acting compared to the other natural fertilizers, with no side effects of burning. It can also be used when planting and down the road as plants become hungry for more nutrition. Our last natural fertilizer is soft rock phosphate, which is rock that was formed millions of years ago from the mineralized remains of marine animals. A soft rock phosphate has the advantage of being more readily available for plants to use than hard rock phosphate and bone meal. The phosphate breaks down slowly over time and can continue to provide soil benefits for up to 5 years. Soft rock phosphate is best used as a soil amendment a few months before planting. We like to amend planting beds in fall for best results. Our favorite crops to grow in beds amended with this fertilizer are root crops such as onions, garlic, leeks, and turnips. Yields are improved and the flavors are enhanced. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. If so, please leave us a thumbs up, as we always appreciate that. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments below. We love getting to answer as many questions as we can. Otherwise, happy gardening and hope to see you again soon.